Hello, everybody. Hello. Good evening. I am looking for my phone. How is everybody doing today? I need my phone. Hello, everybody. My phone, please. That's what I need. Need my phone, please.
Where's your phone?
I think it's in the kitchen. How is everybody doing tonight? What happened? Oh, it's back on. I hope this doesn't happen again tonight. Okay, let me share this. How is everybody? Waiting for a few more people to come on, but I'm about to get started. Is what I'm about to do. All right. Waiting for some more to come on. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Lady Mo evening show. And I think I am almost ready. Are we ready? Are we ready? I'm getting hot already. We're going to have to open up this window. We're going to have to open up this window. So welcome everyone to the Lady Mo show. We have some authors in tonight and we're excited about it. I know I'm excited about it. Oh, hi, beautiful. How are you? How are you? I was just talking to your uncle a minute ago. We was having some issues, girl, but it's okay. So a few more people coming in and then we're going to be jumping on and we're excited. Tonight we have this awesome, wonderful gentleman, pastor, father, friend, author. He is a life coach. He is outstanding. When I say outstanding, he is outstanding. And he is coming on right now. Actually, I'm going to bring him in, waiting for a few more people to come on and make sure my volume is okay. And we're set and ready to go on the set. We're ready to go. Looks like we're ready to go. Something over there is not right, but it's okay. I'll worry about it later. So begin to share the video. Welcome to the Lady Mo evening show. This is our authors week and we're excited about what's happening, what people are doing. We have so many wonderful authors this week that will come and share their stories. We have authors who have spent time, they have experienced some things, they have been through a lot, and they are going to bless us, I like to use the word bless, with their expertise and with their writing ability. And they're going to shed some, they're going to clear some things, I'm telling you. They're going to answer some questions. Does my eyebrow look weird to you? Looks like I have 3 eyebrows. Looks like I have 3 eyebrows. I hope not, but it looks like I do. So we're going to bring our guest on, and we're excited. Just a few more seconds here, and we're going to. Hey, James, how are you? How are you? Nice to see you. Let's see. We're going to make sure that we let everybody know, because this is a good book that Rodney Middleton has written about mentorship. I don't want to jump in too quickly, but I'm telling you, it's excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Because many of us, I'm starting to get into it already. So let me just bring him in. Because if I don't, then, okay, one second. I'm trying to find, you're always trying to find something. And usually when you're trying to find it, you can't get to it. So we're going to move on. All right, I'm going to bring in our guest. Our first guest is Rodney Middleton. He is an author. He is a pastor. He's a life coach. He is a friend. He is, wow, he's a designer. He's got so many different skills. I'm going to bring him on. Hello, you're still on mute. You're on mute. So let me see. Can I unmute you? Or you have to unmute yourself? I have to unmute you. I don't know. It doesn't. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Hey, how are
you?
How are you?
Excited to see you tonight.
It's great to be seen. It's great to be a part of this monumental occasion.
Yes. Well, welcome to the Lady Mo show. This is our first first night of Authors Week, and I'm excited that you're my first guest. You are, I love you to pieces. You know that you're my favorite. You know that we don't go way back, but we go back. We go back, and you've always been such a inspiration. You've been such a help, a creative help. You have just been a friend to the end. You tell me the truth, and you tell me with love, which I really love that part about you. But you have written a book. You've written several books. How many books have you written so far?
I've written and published 6 books, and I've written during the pandemic. I wrote another 4 books that I'll be publishing sometime next year.
Wow, that's outstanding. Well, let me start off by asking this, because there are many people that are saying, I want to write a book, or I have a story, and I don't know where to start, or am I going to offend someone? Hello, Tysha, am I going to offend someone? Or, what do I do? And I always tell people just to start writing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a journal, and, just start writing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pieces will fall together. Since you are a creative writer and you have wrote many books, what advice would you give to someone who has a story to share but don't know where to start?
The first thing I would look at is determination, my audience. Who can I impact?
Yes.
Based upon, writing a book. This one is important, but I was able to write one last year about overcoming rejection. It was a small book.
I wish we talked about that one.
No, it's all, I can do a little bit with that one because it's an ebook. It's on Amazon. I haven't gotten I haven't gotten the hard copy yet. And what caused me to want to write that book was because, as a pastor, but as a person, I've seen, I experienced it. What I wrote was based upon my personal experience. But I said, well, I see people dealing with that. If I can put something together that's small, that I can, I can tell them this was the background of my condition. Mm-hmm. This is what the condition did to me.
Yes.
But this is what I did to overcome the condition. And that's where you want to always lock your readers in on. You want to progress them through whatever story you're trying to tell, but make sure that there's a victory at the end of the story.
Yes.
Yeah. So that particular. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So the first thing I need to do is identify my audience. Mm-hmm. Tell the viewers how important that is.
Oh, if you don't, you have to identify who your target audience is, or you will be wasting your time. Mm-hmm. Because here's a reality. Your family may buy your book, but your book may not be for your family. So what happens is they're not going to tell anybody about the book, or they may not ever read the book. So you have to, you locate your target audience. You kind of go through certain aspects of people that you're meeting. Because here's how you can tell your target audience. You can start looking at the people that you're meeting right now to be able to determine how you can help them.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the things, and because I really hadn't had a chance to talk to you guys, because you guys have just been doing tremendous and massive work the way that we probably should. But you know, in reality, the way you and Tim do the relationship doctors, I'm looking for a relationship planner to come out of what you guys are doing, because you've already developed this audience.
Mm-hmm.
This audience with people that need help in their relationships. And a lot of times I like it because you all are kind of open, you know, and I like openness in relationships, and that's what people want to hear. They don't want to hear the facade. So even when I wrote this book, what I wrote the Why You Need a Mentor, I wrote it because I saw so many people trying things and failing at it. And
Mm-hmm.
I knew, and what happens is there's an investment that has to come when you're investing in mentors that teach you certain things. Because see, I paid a book coach. I had a book coach that assisted me, that made writing the book the process of writing the book became a lot easier. Well, what did I have to do? I had to invest in someone that have influence and expertise, and have them help me in the area that I needed to be helped in. And they were able to give me the information that I needed to be able to watch this, to effectively just be able to put out books that target a certain sector of people, and putting out these books. And it's been a tremendous blessing. So
Let me ask you this before we go any further, because I know you are a book coach. Can you have your assistant type in your information, because there's many people out here, because you're a one-stop shop. They can come to you as a book coach. You can lead them and guide them. You can help them design their book. You can help them with the process of their book. You can publish their book, and you can help them market their book. Correct?
absolutely.
People are looking for people that they can trust. And I have seen so many people that have been hurt and their money has been taken from them because they don't have the right person that wants to invest in them, that really cares about them and not just trying to get their money. Now, I don't know his fee, everyone. I'm sure it's not going to break you. It depends on your book. But his website is up right now, Dion Middleton at gmail.com. His assistant just typed it in for you. So those of you who are out there right now saying, because I personally have about 76 books right now sitting, waiting to be written. There's some that's already written. And as you were saying about the relationship journal, we had already started one, but we just didn't finish it. So getting back to what you were saying about mentorship, why do people think that they don't need a mentor in every area of their life?
Well, it's they don't value
Mm-hmm.
the investment that comes from the person that is qualified to help them. Because here the reality is, years ago, I wrote a book, small books years ago, didn't know what to do with it, and so forth. So what I did was I was able to get an individual that helped me, and now I can spit the books out, uh,
Yes.
like, you know, like it's nothing to it, because they showed me the process. And so here's this thing about mentoring. We're talking about it from a book perspective, but as Lady Mo said, it's a life perspective that you need a mentor for. This particular book was actually a spin-off book because I was in the business sector to say why you need a mentor. I wrote another book on why you need a pastor.
Oh.
And I wrote that book because
Mm-hmm.
most people don't, if you don't understand the need for something, then you'll excuse,
Yes.
you know, having that person qualify
Mm-hmm.
to coach you, to correct you and to get you on course for the thing in your life that God says that we're supposed to have. So, I mean, we have to value that person.
That's right.
The expertise in an area that we lack the expertise in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. If we could just do that, we would be on our way. And having a mentor for every area of your life is important. And that's how we avoid making so many mistakes. Is having someone above you, beneath you, and on your same level. Someone who can pull you up, someone you can pull up, and someone that's going to pull, someone that pulls you up and you pull them up, and someone you can just chill with on the same level. So that book is available now on Amazon, or we have to go to your website?
That one I do have copies on me. It is on Amazon, but you can also go to my website, because the Amazon price is a little more than what I'm actually making them available for right now, because my whole thought was, even going into this year, I don't want people to go into another year and waste another year. And I'm not being hard when I say wasted, because if you're doing a lot of things, but you're not seeing results, then you have to change what you're doing. I mean,
are you telling me that I can order this book tonight? If I email you at dionmiddleton@gmail.com, that you can send me the book Why I Need a Mentor? And how much is the book?
I'm letting them go for 10. They're 20 on Amazon.
Okay.
I'm letting.
These are great Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
So those of you who are shopping right now, you send an email right now to dionmiddleton@gmail.com and order 5 books, 10 books, and send them to your family, because during the quarantine, they need to be reading this. Talk briefly about the other book, Overcoming Rejection, because many people are not successful. Many people walk around in the fence, and many people are depressed, and they are just unhappy because of rejection. And it could be from when they were 5. Shed some light about that book for us.
Oh, well, that you just nailed it when you said where the rejection starts at. Most of the time, the rejection starts at an early age. I'm okay with telling my story now, but I didn't want to tell it then, because most of my rejection started in my family. And I'm not talking about my married family. I'm talking about my paternal family that I was born into, because I was considered to be a little bit different. And because I'm a little bit different, I could say certain things. Individuals would begin to make comments concerning, even, parents make comments that were conducive to keeping me stuck. Now, here's why overcoming rejection, it became so important to me, and it's important for everyone else, is because that situation that happened to me when I was 7 or 10 or 12, that particular situation bled into my adulthood. And because it bled into my adulthood, if I didn't check some things, it was going to cost me relationships.
Wow.
And I'm talking about the ones that the lifelongers. I'm talking about, I ain't talking about the ones that if they leave, you don't really care. I'm talking about the lifelongers, the ones that were supposed to be in my life for quite some time. It almost cost me, because I envisioned them through the people that were rejecting me. And the rejection really was, it kept replaying over and over again. I kept replaying it in my head, even to the point when I got married. Okay. I mean, really, here's a reality. If you don't know a person's story, you got to be careful, because even if there was a rejection for intimacy, okay, that's something that happened way back then that can bleed over. And literally, if you're not careful, you can do one or two things. You can run out of the marriage, or you could run into someone else's arms.
Yes.
Because your thing is, I just want to be satisfied. And whoever satisfies me doesn't have my best interests at heart. That's who I'm going to go for. And so the condition was, it could have cost me my relationship with my pastor, because things happen. You all are my friends. Things happen. We don't know everybody's situation, but my thing was I was letting that bleed over into relationships, and it almost cost me some valuable relationships. Now
Wow.
the now is you'll always be stuck because you'll always judge people by what someone else did.
Wow.
You can always judge them. But I looked at this story, and this thing, it blessed my heart and it blessed my life because I went back and read about in Genesis 31. I went back and read about Rachel and Leah and Isaac, and what happened was the Bible said that girl Rachel. Leah, the cockeyed one, that's what the Bible called her, the lazy-eyed one. She loved her husband, but he didn't love her. He loved the other wife. His affection was always to the other wife. So that rejection had messed her life up so bad. She spent all those years, and the first 4 children were named after trying to please her husband. And what happens is, most people don't realize some of the relationships that they're jacked up in is because they're really not in a relationship. They just want to please the person that they're with. And when you want to please the person that you're with, that's not lasting because it'll cost you everything because you will lose yourself trying to please other people because everything was towards the husband. Everything was towards the husband. Everything was towards the husband. It wasn't until, and this is the gateway. And I still want you to get it because there's some processes and steps in this particular book. It wasn't until she took the focus off of her husband and took it off of the one who really loved her, which was God. She changed. Her last son, Judah, was praise.
Wow.
And that's when she had decided to take the focus off of herself. Now, here's the thing. Off of others. Here's the thing. While our assignment is to others, we have to be careful where we put others at in our life. Because the truth be told, my wife is my heart and I love my wife, but I still have to work on good mental health for myself. I'm not a pastor in our church, but I would do them an injustice by not having good mental health for myself. And what happens is people get into relationships with stealers. People who steal your joy, people who steal your time, and people who steal your life. And they give everything to them, and they never stop giving. And so they become depressed.
Yes.
And a lot of times for pastors, us as pastors are the product of another relationship. When people want to roll out on us and blame us for everything that's in their life, they're not blaming us. The rejection in their past is so strong that we're just the conduit to just blame for that particular moment. And so while I used to get ticked off, I was going to say another word, when I used to get ticked off about when people do that, I realized they're dealing with me from a prior relationship or a prior issue that they have not been dealt with. Because even in the financial realm or arena, okay, the truth be told, I know you and Tim, and because I know you and Tim, there are people that were not as cordial as they could have been because you and Tim were never hand-to-mouth people. And so since you were never hand-to-mouth people, some people just have an opinion and an offense that they develop because they literally don't have the life that you have. So it's easy to insult you and walk away from you. But here's the problem with that. You never get rid of the rejection that is caused everything in the first place.
That is so powerful. So the books that we're talking about is Why Do I Need a Mentor, Overcoming Rejection, and Why I Need a Pastor. Right?
Yes.
So I can get those books tonight. So if I send an email to Dion, right, Middleton at gmail.com. I can order all 3 books tonight.
Except the pastor one.
I'm sorry?
Except the one, Why You Need a Pastor. Because
Okay.
I was, it's not that it's not written. It's written. It's just not printed.
Okay.
But what I could do is I could upload it to Amazon, and they could go to, and I could put a link on my page from Amazon, and they can get it from there. Because
you can pre-order too, right?
Huh?
You can pre-order too, right?
Yes, you can pre-order, because what I wanted to do with this, I wanted to send these out to pastors first. And I mean, they can get it, but I wanted to send it out to pastors first, because what happens is a lot of times, and especially, you know, with the pandemic and how it occurred, most people believe they need a church, where
no,
you don't need a church, because you are the church.
That's right.
You know, so you didn't really need a church. What you needed was a fellowship.
Exactly.
There's a difference between a church and a fellowship.
Yeah.
That Hebrews chapter 10 talks about that, when it says, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together as believers. But the Message translation tells us to let's get creative about this thing, because we needed a fellowship. And so what happened is, the world has taught us to deny what God gave us as a gift, which was a pastor. Well, hey, how you say? Well, Jeremiah 3:15 said that God would give us pastors after his own heart.
That's right.
And so the heart, watch this, the heart of a pastor is always for the shepherd. And we don't realize that God gave us people to usher us into our assignments, to have us participate in their vision, because there is no Elisha without an Elijah. There is none. And what people have to understand is, when you know that, I'm gonna go to a marriage scripture with this, forsaking all others. Well, that's what Elisha did. Elisha left his family, he left his business, and the Bible says he ran after his pastor, his man of God, which means he was committed to following the vision of him, his man of God. Now, here's the thing that happened. The church didn't ask Elisha what he wanted for following Elijah. Elijah said, boy, you've been after me all this time. What do you want? He says, let your life be repeated in my life. And he's set up for the double portion. So most people don't get the revelation that the pastor is a gift, because here's what the dishonor has done. He put his pants on the same way I do. How you know? He might put both of his legs in his pants when he sit on the bed. You might stand up and put yours on, so you don't put your pants on the same way. But here's the thing. God didn't make us as pastors perfect, but he made us as visionaries for a heart for the people that would lead them into their destiny. Now, here's the thing that I know about why you need a pastor or a shepherd, and I use those simultaneously, is because the pastor is the only one that have enough fortitude, like David fought off lions and bears to protect the sheep.
Well, let me ask you this. I know you're a pastor and you're a businessman and you're an author, but we have people that are watching that perhaps don't know the scriptures that you're quoting. They may know of them. And I'm going to send them to you. Tell them what to expect when they come to you as a book coach.
Okay. Here's what I expect. I expect you to know within yourself that you have a story. Now, here's the thing about your story. You can take your story. I would always take my story and turn it into a how-to book, is what I would do. You always have to be prepared to make a how-to book. The only stories, and right now, no one, and I hate to be as drastic, because this is what my coach did for me. No one is interested in your life without answers. Because right now, if it's not Barack Obama's or Michelle Obama's book or something like that, people are not interested in buying books that tell a story about you. They're interested in getting answers for whatever they're dealing with. Now, here's the thing. You are somebody's answer that is either following you on social media, go to your church, that are in your workplace. You are the answer that they need. And so you can take your experience, make it a how-to. And here's the thing, the way my book coach taught me how to write a book, the process has been so simplified that you can, I did in a class, I did a book in a day is what I did. Now it was 8 hours.
That's right. It can be done.
But it can be done. And so I expect people to have enthusiasm. But here's the other thing. Once you have written a book, what I like to do with individuals is, which is most important, because I got a coach to do this, how to sell the book. Because most people write a book and become so disappointed because nobody buys the book. But I was able to sell a book, 100 copies in 30 days, as I was able to sell a book because I'm trained and taught on how to put the book together, how to put the marketing together to be able to attract the audience that you want. And right now, it's just right now, if you can write a book on what you grew in the middle of a pandemic, I promise you can find some buyers and sellers in it. Because I have another book, I don't think I have it here. And so many, I had another book that I wrote back when they had the government shutdown. And when they had the government shutdown, it was called How to Pay Yourself, Secrets How to Monetize Your Mind. And I wrote that book because it was a government shutdown. I really wrote it for government workers to learn how to use what they know as a product. Their mind is a product, and I wanted them to use their mind and be able to sell things that they can have. I mean, out there you had some bakers. Well, you should have been out there baking and selling things. You have some people that can do other things. And so I wrote that book with a specific target audience in mind on how to monetize your mind. Because here's the reality, people will pay you for what you know. And they definitely will. And the reason, what gave me that idea, or that actually revelation, was a meeting that we did with the late Dr. Miles Monroe back in 2006, I believe it was, when he was here in the Maryland area. And he talked about, and he showed us a copy of a check that a company paid him to train their people on leadership. Okay, he was a leadership kingdom guru. They paid him for a 3-day training $1 million. I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see the check myself. They said $1 million. He said, "What does it say?" I'm like, "Man, don't do that, because I that's what I want to do." But he emphasized, become the expert at something, and then become in demand for being the expert at it.
Yes, that's fantastic. Well, you've been fantastic tonight, and I know everyone, you're going to have orders. They're ordering your book right now. They're sending you an email to dionmiddleton@gmail.com, getting your book, Why Do I Need a Mentor and Overcoming Rejection. It's important that you get these books now while you're hearing Dr. Middleton talk and encourage us on how the process of writing a book. And again, he's going to be your life coach. He's going to be your book coach. He's going to help you through the process. I know some of you are saying, it sounds like a lot. I really can't do it. I don't have a lot of time. I have 3 children. I have a full-time job. Hey, I had all those things and I still did it. So I know if I can do it, you can do it. And if it's on your heart, if a subject is on your heart, that means that it's in you, then you can put it on paper. So go to email dionmiddleton@gmail.com. Ask for your appointment with him. He will do a Zoom call with you. And, I'm not sure how much it's going to cost, but it's not going to be, a lot. But I know that you have to invest in yourself. And this is a great investment. What's the name of your publishing company?
Eye to Eye Publishing.
Eye to Eye, right? Eye to Eye Publishing. He'll publish the book for you. He will make sure everything inside the book is wonderful. He will help you with your cover. He will help you with the marketing. He will help you produce and live your dream and let everyone know what's inside of you, and it'll be on paper. So remember, dionmiddleton@gmail.com. gmail.com. This is Dr. Rodney Middleton. Thank you so much for coming on, being my first guest on Author Week. You are fantastic. Let me know about those orders that are coming in. Make sure you get out and order them. They put their nice, what do they call them? Stuffers.
Stocking stuffers.
Stocking stuffers.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my parents, don't put nothing in the stocking. Just put it on the couch. I know I'm a little. Give it to me in my hand. So they're nice stocking stuffers. So thank you so much, Rodney, for coming on. We appreciate you and we love you.
Love
and
you.
let me know.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Our next guest is coming in. She's waiting for us in the green room. Wasn't he fantastic? I'm telling you, if you've never written a book, but you have in your heart to write a book, Rodney Middleton, Dion Middleton at gmail.com. It is right there in the comments. You can email him and he'll get back to you, I'm sure, by 48 hours. And he will help you through the process of writing your first book or even your second book, whatever. He's there to help you. He's a book coach. He's a life coach. He can counsel you. Oh, he can motivate you. He can encourage you. He can uplift you. You can do it. I currently, let me tell you how many books I have right now. And I've only published 2. And I started some of the other ones. Wow, that's strange. How I never even opened it up. That's God. Let me tell you this. And it's open up right here. Let me tell you how many I have. 73 titles already ready to go. My main one that I've been working on is Don't Marry Potential, Marry Purpose. Why? Because everybody has potential, right? Everybody. But our next guest is here. She's ready in the green room. And I've never met her, but I've read some of her information, and I'm so excited to bring her on the Lady Mo show. And she has several books out, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's at least 5. Some of them are named Wounds, and she has, let me tell you the other ones. I was just looking at a lot of them today, and let me tell you about her. She has The Storms Caused by My Faith, The Key Is Me. She has To Have and to Hold, Things I Wish He Knew. Wow, does she have a story. So we're going to welcome our second guest tonight. Her name is Frida Camille. I'm going to bring her in. Are y'all ready to go? Let's see if she's there. Hello, let me take her off of mute. Hello, can you hear me? Let's see. Oh, okay, let's see. Hello? Hello? I see her. Nothing's moving now. And I hear something, and it went mute again, but I can't hear her. Oh, you have to unmute yourself. That's what it's saying. You have to unmute yourself. All right, Frida, can you hear me? Frida? While she's working on the audio.
I think I'm having a problem with my connection. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's kind of muffled. Did you want to sign off and then sign back on?
It's so great.
Did you want to move to another location? So as we're waiting for her, her connection, as we're waiting for her to come on.
Hi,
we'll see.
So great.
Can you? Oh no! Can you move to another location?
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me.
It's not.
Oh
it's
no!
Like I can hear sometimes some of the things that you're saying.
Oh no! Did you want to sign out and then sign? Wait a minute! I see you moving a little bit. Did you want to move to another location?
Can you say it one more time?
Can you move to another location?
I'm sorry, it's hard.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
let me
maybe
try
we
the
can.
location.
Okay. So while we're waiting for our next guest to move to a new location, let me tell you who do we have the lineup coming up for tomorrow on Authors Week. Let me tell you who we have coming on next week. Tomorrow, we have, oh my goodness, Lorraine Williams is coming on. Her ministry is called The Bald. I think it's The Bald Girl. All I knew is one day she had a head full of hair, and then when I saw her again, she didn't. And she has, I'm trying to think exactly what the name of it's called. Let me give you the name of the book. Let me give you the name of the book. Okay, Monique, here we go. Why do I not see it? Oh, let me see. Let me go on, and I want to tell you exactly what her book, name of her book is, so I can see it better. It's called Hair for something about hair. I know she had a disease, and I'm trying to find out exactly what the name of her book is. But oh, hair is not the defining factor. How many women deal with hair, losing their hair because of a disease or something that's happened to them? You know, my daughter's hair falls out and she flips out. So this is a woman who's a mother or a wife. She is, you know, her hair was long. I mean, long, and now she has none. So that's Tuesday night, and that is Lorraine Williams. And we also going to have another guest that night as well. Then on the next night, on Wednesday, we're going to have Dr. Chevelle Smith, who is her is rest. And I can tell you exactly what hers is about. You know, I'm reading from my phone, right? So it's easier for me. I can tell you exactly what it means. Release emotion and stress together. Wow. Then we're going to have on Thursday the 3rd, which is, let me see, going to the next one. Thursday, we're going to have a guest, George Williams, and his book is on breaking the chains of addictions. If you're dealing with an addiction, you have someone in your family that's addicted to a particular substance or could be just addictions in general, that will be on Thursday. Then on Friday, we will have transparency, and that's Shay Fawcett Robinson dealing with transparency and openness, and she'll be talking about some of her personal challenges that she's had with her daughter. Then on Saturday, we're going to Nikita Jackson is going to be talking about Black fathers. So it's going to be an awesome, awesome week. Our guest is back. Let's see if it's working. Hello? Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You can hear me? I can hear you. I hear
Okay.
just a little static, but I can hear you better this time.
Okay, so that's wonderful. Now, Frida, we talked a little bit today about, well, first of all, welcome and thank you for joining the Lady Mo show. I'm excited about to hear about your story. Just a little bit that I've read. It sounds like a part of my life that I've experienced. So we do have that in common. But tell the viewers a little bit about your story.
Thank you for having me on your show. I'm really excited. I was one of my family members sent me the flyer, and I didn't expect to be a part of this show so fast. But nonetheless, I feel blessed to be able to share my story on the show. I actually went to school with your sisters So I was really, really excited to
Which
be a part of
one?
this. It's a
Yolanda,
blessing.
Tamika, or LaFawn?
With, with, yeah, I Mika and Elanda. So we went to high
Oh,
school
wow.
together.
I got to text them and tell them that you're on. Wow. So tell me about your story.
So yeah. So my name is Frida Camille, and I've been actually writing since I was a little girl. I started out writing just through the journaling process. I've been through a lot in my life. It just was a way of an escape, just to get away from reality. Early on in my life, at the age of 6 or 7 years old, I was raped and molested when I was living in a foster home. So I lost my sense of actual, I would say, um, uh, what many people would say the inspiration as children would be able to write and have the ability just to have that sense of um, writing. And for me, I just had to write about reality from myself.
Mm-hmm.
So then my mother was mental ill, and because of her mental illness is how I ended up in a foster home.
Mm-hmm.
So dealing with those type of things in my life, again, writing was my sense of escape. I
Mm-hmm.
just trust God to be able to keep me safe, trust God to help me to get through the issues, of feeling that no one was there to protect me, no one would be there to help me, but knowing that at some point in my life, things would actually get better for me.
Tamika just texted me and said you
Eventually,
were her best
I found myself
friend.
in situations where, I'm
Can you hear
sorry,
me, Frida? Tamika just texted me and said, "Oh
you
my
said
God, it's my
Mika said
best
it.
friend."
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Not only did I deal with this sense of being, rejected, heartbroken, abandoned, molested. I was abandoned when I was 13 by my father. After being, I'm kind of jumping around, I'm sorry. After being in the foster home, my father came and picked us up, and I lived with him for a certain amount of time. But then there was like maybe 6 years of living with my father. And after
Mm-hmm.
living with him for 6 years, he one day my mother was back living in Delaware with us. Um, my we were visiting my mother, and during that time of visiting with my mother, my father had abandoned us, like packed up all his stuff and moved away. So, Open Wound, the book that I just released, it kind of tells this testimony of my life. I've written other books, Storms Caused My Faith, Things I Wish He Knew, To Have and to Hold. They're poetry books, and they're more like a way of me to be able to like poetically tell a story about myself without actually telling a story. But when I finally had the ability to write Open Wound, God just dropped the seed in my heart to say it's time to really tell the story. So writing Open Wound, it was a 9-year process of me being able to have to
Wow.
actually relive certain situations, relive the trauma, relive the walk through dysfunction. I just released this book in September of 2020, and every time I thought about writing the book, it was very hard for me, very traumatic for me, because I told a story that I never shared with any of my friends, never shared with my mother, never shared with, my father. It's a part of me that I only shared with the Lord. So even, doing an interview, this is my first interview actually talking about the book. So it's very touching, trying hard not to, cry, that kind of thing. But Open Wound is the most transparent piece that I've ever written.
Mm-hmm.
It it essentially is basically taking an actual wound and pulling the layers back, allowing it to
Mm-hmm.
bleed, allowing your heart to bleed, allowing the skin to be revealed, allowing your heart to be revealed. Walking through this process, I had to actually, deal with certain situations with my daughter. She was just like not understanding why I couldn't talk to her and tell her these certain stories that I've been through. There were things that I shared with her. I had my daughter when I was 17. I got pregnant with her when I was 16. I shared certain stories with her that I felt was age appropriate, but there was still things that I wrote in that book that I never shared with her. And I tried to get her to understand, like, these are just, it wasn't that I purposely kept it from you. It just was stories that I just could not share with anyone but God. And we had to go through like a pruning process. Her coming to me and saying, "Open up womb for us." So the whole process of writing Open Womb was just, it was very traumatic. Just me reliving the process of the things that I went through, but also up just different cans and worms with my daughter, and not knowing my brothers were going to feel about me telling certain stories. But I had to tell my side of stories. You don't get the full picture. There's no matter how many people are involved, people are not going to be able to see the whole picture. But all I was able to do was tell my side of the story, if
And
that
I
makes sense.
and I relate to that so well. It took me a long time to write my book, No More Drama in My Life, because of the molestation and the family members and my grandmother, and what my I never even told my kids. And when I told my kids, this was probably maybe 3, 4 years ago, they were like, "Who is it? I'm gonna go kill him." I'm like, "No, you can't do that. It's over." And they say that's why you act the way you act, because when you have been violated at such a young
Right.
age, we have a tendency to be very protective, and we're watching everything, and I don't want to say we're so sensitive, but we are aware of our surroundings and people that are around our children, and things of that nature. But I mean, when I started writing it, I started feeling much better. Did you feel that too when you start writing it and actually talking out the process and how things were, played out, and it just made you feel better to even just get it out? Did you feel that too? Oh, I hope she can hear me.
I kind of missed a little bit of it, of the question, but I can say that for me, you know, knowing that I had been raped, and I was just a mama, like a super mama bear, not just for my daughter, but for everybody's kids. I'm a hawk. I watch things a certain kind of way. I try, like, if people wear their clothes a certain way or if they moved a certain kind of way, I was very suspect about a lot of things. And then for me, even though I experienced that, um, I was fast to a certain degree. People would say I probably was loose, but not 100% to say, like, yeah, I had a early. Even in the book I shared, I gotten pregnant early, 14, 16, 18, but and I had abortion, and I didn't trust people, and I didn't trust people with my kids. But then as life
Mhm.
went on and I got married and I've raised my ex-husband's children, and they're my children, I'm hawkish over them. I'm still hawkish over them. And anybody that comes into my life knows that if you have kids, your kids are going to be my kids, and I'm going to be hawkish over them, and I'm going to watch, and I'm going to make sure that they're safe. I'm going to make sure that everybody's with me. We're going to hang out. We're going to, I'm going to keep everybody close. And it's because of the things that I experienced so early. If
Mhm.
it's like, I want to make sure that, you're taken care of, because I'm going to raise people, and I'm going to raise you, and I'm going to take care of you the way I felt like I should have been taken care of. And I always say, I'm going to be what I needed when I was coming up.
Yes.
I hope that
You know,
answered your question because I kind of
yeah,
missed a little bit. My service for whatever reason is not the greatest right
yeah.
now.
And we need to nip this in the bud because many people say, and it could be the African American community. I remember what I experienced years ago, and even now, people would say she looks too fast or she looks like she's too loose. And what they're seeing is that we've been touched. I didn't know that until I got older and I started seeing it in other young ladies. And that's how I knew if someone touched them. It was not that we were um, loose and fresh and just being like this, but we were touched. So when we're touched, there's a certain the right word I'm
Exactly.
looking for. It's a spirit. It's a spirit that you can see, and the only way people could say what it is to identify it is they're loose. And really, what they're seeing is someone has violated them, or someone has taken advantage of them, or someone has touched them inappropriately. We want to clear that up so people will stop saying that and deal with the issue and start asking, hey, just start talking to girls and getting comfortable and making them feel comfortable so you can ask the proper questions. So, now that you've written this book, how are you feeling about this being out now? How is your family dealing with this? How's your family dealing with the book?
I lost you at the end. Could you repeat that last part?
How is your family dealing with the book, Open Wound? She's having a
My
problem.
family,
Oh,
I don't really know how family, um, I don't know how they feel about it. My one brother, well, I can say my one brother, my oldest brother, one of my oldest brothers that's closer to me, his response to the book was he understands why I act the way I act. He
mhm.
understands why I am the way that I am. Um, he says that he feels bad that he didn't know and that he wished he could have done more. I had a school teacher say the same thing. Like when she read the book, she wished that there was more she could have, she had a range of emotions and she wished that she remembers the little girl and she wishes that she knew more and she wishes that she could have done more to help the little girl in the book. My other brother, he's a clown and we're really close, but he laughs, but that's the way that we dealt with most of our life is we laughed about our pain and we laughed about addiction.
Mm,
So for him to laugh and he made a big joke about it, but he knew that it wasn't funny and he didn't understand because he too was in a foster home, but we were separated. Just he was
mm,
down the street and I was at one place and I
wow.
was by myself and he was with a bunch of kids. He had no clue that, these kind of things were going on. And then as I got older, because that had happened to me another time where I was approached by somebody and they may have just touched me and inappropriately. I lost my voice at the first time that it happened. And I remember times where I thought, maybe I made it up, maybe it was just my imagination. But what I was trying to say earlier was that as a kid, I lost my imagination because that I had experienced an adult situation at 6 or 7. But what I know that I remembered was being at the hospital. My grandmother was a nurse. I too am a nurse now. I'm a pediatric nurse.
Okay.
Grandmother was a nurse and I remember being at the hospital and being checked out and I remember the embarrassment. I remember the experience of the pain of being checked out and that wasn't my imagination. And as a writer, I have a children's book, but as much as I try to write fiction, it's hard for me to tap into that part of my brain because I feel like the imagination was stolen from me, that all I can tap into is reality. Like, this is life. This is what you've experienced. This hurt. This is pain. All you can do is try to help people, save people, encourage people, inspire people. Let people know that you don't have to look like what you've been through, no matter what you've been through. Whether it's, the abandonment of somebody walking out on you, whether it's the rejection, duration, you're not supposed to experience that. And the emotion that comes along with it, which is a natural emotion, you deal with those emotions as a child, and you don't understand it, is not supposing that to you, but you deal even with rejection from that, because at some point that person is not going to want you anymore. But naturally your body is expecting, that, and you don't understand that as a child, and people don't understand that either. So eventually, that's why when you grow up and out there, you're seeking something that you've been exposed to, that you should not have been exposed to, and that's why you're fast, so called, and find yourself throwing your body here, there, and everywhere, and you don't understand it because your body has already experienced something that you should not have. But biologically, once that can of worms is open and it's been tapped into, your body is naturally seeking that, and it should not be.
Yes.
But you see it all the time. So now that I found my voice to speak against it, all I can say to young ladies, because as a nurse, I still see it happening. And it ain't just the Black people. It's happening to all colors, all races, and every age. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. And it's, when I think about what has happened to me, and I tried to talk to my daughter about it, like I said, in an age appropriate way. But, there was a fight. She's like, well, you could have told me this and you could have told me that. Well, I could have told you certain things, but it still wouldn't have, she thought it would have, changed the choices that she made in her life. But she didn't become a teenage mom, praise God. But, at the same time, all I can say is that we I found my voice. You found your voice. Other women have found their voice, and it's our job to step up for those young ladies that find themselves in that situation, to be able to let them know that it's not.
Yes, absolutely. Now, what about the other book, about the faith book that you have written?
I'm
I think it
losing
was
you. I'm
called
sorry. Say that
your,
again.
your faith book that you have written. Let me see, what was it called? Your book on faith. Can you hear me? I lost her. Well, I lost her. Oh
Let me try
no.
to say that again. I'm sorry. My service is horrible.
Mine
Say
was
that again.
horrible a couple of weeks ago too, as well. So, and we're dealing with a storm back here. Um, the book that storms caused my faith. What about that book that you written?
The
Have
storms
written?
caused my faith. Okay, so that's a poetry book that I wrote, and that book was the first book that I wrote. It comes in two editions, but the first edition is no longer around. The second edition was written. I added more poetry to it. But the Storms Cause My Faith was written in first released 2004. It was inspired by the death of my mother. My mom. I moved out of my mom's house when I was 23 years old. 3 weeks after moving out, I had this housewarming party, and I was just excited to celebrate, my freedom. But however, 3 weeks after 3 weeks after moving out of my mom's house, August 22nd, I scheduled this housewarming party, and essentially that was the day that my mom passed away. I was on my way to go pick her up to bring her to my house, and I pulled up, and police cars, ambulance, fire trucks, and she had died.
Oh,
So the way that I was able to deal with losing my mom was back to the journaling. I journaled every day. Mind you, this is when I was still in the midst of I was 23. So I was still drinking, I was partying, I was smoking weed. I was doing everything I thought I was big and bad enough to do. But when my mom died, I knew that it was time for me to get right in my life to Christ. I had 2 church skirts and 3 church shirts. And mind you, I had been like, I wasn't brought up like necessary to say I was up in church, but I had been in church with you guys before. And I mean, at this
We
point I
don't
had more
dress like
sneaks than
that
I had like
anymore.
1 pair of funeral shoes. It was like, it was terrible. So I mean, I committed myself to going to church every weekend. I went to the last church that my mom went to. I got saved. Me and my daughter, we had got baptized again. And I was going to church. I was reading my Bible every day. I gave up smoking cigarettes. I gave up smoking weed. And every day I was writing, and the Holy Spirit took over my pen, and my poetry that I was writing to like flirt with people and stuff like that. Everything was totally and every poem was in the book. This was my faith, and that's how I got that book. And from that point on, I knew that God was going to use me for His ministry, for His glory, for His purpose, and that I am who I am today because of Him. And every situation that I've been through, I'll always tell people it's not about me, it's all about God. And if He allowed me to walk through these situations and circumstances, and He gets the glory out of my life, and that is it, and that is all. And author Frida Camille is all about, I'm the vessel for God's glory, and that's all. But that The Storms Caused My Faith is that was the first book that I ever wrote. So
Well, thank you
people
so
say, what
much
do you mean the storms caused your faith?
on.
If it wasn't for the storm, then I wouldn't have this faith of mine.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I typed it in. Everyone can get your books on Amazon.com, correct?
Yes, they can
Amazon.com.
get the books on Amazon.com. Some of the books, my website needs to definitely be updated, but they also can contact me on fridacamille.com as well. I've been working on publishing other authors as well. So I just been kind of like pushing myself back and just doing some different projects here
Wonderful.
lately, and working. And I'm a grandmother, and my grandson King has been keeping me busy. So I just been doing a lot of things. But
Wow.
they can go on fridacamille.com, Amazon. They can get them as well, and could also do a $10. They can contact me, Chase Zion Publishing, or they can hit me on
1 second.
Instagram, Facebook, and we can do a $10 book on any of the books today.
I was trying to get chase.com. You
Because
said,
on
what is it?
Amazon, I think.
Oh, okay, I found it.
I'm sorry.
I was looking for the Chase Zion Publishing, right?
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
I have it. Don't worry about it. I got it. So, well, thank you so much for tuning in. And the books are $10, correct? It's $10. I guess we lost her. Well, everybody, thank you so much. We had 2 special guests, great guests today. We had Dr. Rodney Middleton, who talked about why you need a mentor, and he wrote a book on overcoming rejection and why you need a pastor. Then we had Frida Camille, a pediatric nurse who has wrote several books, Open Wounds, Her Faith. I'm trying to get the other book that let me look at it one more time to make sure. The Storms Cause My Faith. The Key Is Me. To Have and Not to Hold. And then she has Things I Wish He Knew. And you can find all those on Amazon. She had a fantastic story about being sexually violated, which I personally can relate to. and, being in foster care. Wow. This has been an awesome night. I have to go because in 45 minutes it's the relationship doctors. So I need to get ready for that broadcast and freshen up a little bit. But I thank you all for tuning in. This is our first evening of the Authors Week. Tomorrow we'll have Lori Williams that will be on tomorrow talking about our hair and not, I keep quoting it. Let me tell you exactly what it is instead of me just making it up, right? I'm going to tell you exactly. Um, let's see. Hair is not the defining factor. Some people I know, even for men, I kept telling my husband, there's a bald spot at the top of your head right there. No, there's not. He kept saying, it's not. I said, I can see it. It really doesn't look nice. And you have hair over here. You got this one spot. He kept saying, no, no, no. So one day he called me frantic and I thought something had happened. He was in Wawa and the reflection of the mirror showed him his head and he was devastated. I said, I tried to tell you. Some women, we lose our hair because of cancer, some type of disease. Many things happen. A hair falls out just from a bad perm or, many things. So join us tomorrow as Lorraine Williams is going to be on the Lady Mo Show. But I appreciate you all tuning in tonight. And if you have any questions, you can always send me an email at askladymo@gmail.com, or you can send me an email at ladymo@hgmde.org. I love you all to pieces. Have a fantastic evening. See you in 45 with the Relationship Doctors. Talk to you soon.